just a totally different aspect from everybody else in the game. You had to differentiate yourself, from the other rappers, and just had to go out there and get your hustle on. Now we got internet. It's just super easy now to be an artist. It's super easy. You get on the internet and have a million followers on YouTube and get a million views, and you're an overnight sensation. Had we had that back then, I don't know, telling how many rappers would be superstars right now. So it's just slightly different, man. But, everybody, you have to learn. You have to be a chameleon. You have to know how to adapt with whatever's going on, adapt with the circumstances, just roll with the punches and change with time. Some rappers or some people are dinosaurs. They don't change with time. Luckily I've been able to keep myself reinvented, kind of adapt, not trying to be not trying to do the young stuff, the Lil Uzi Verts and the whoever young rappers are now, not trying to be them, but trying to be authentic and true to myself and do what I do and just stay in my own lane and just kind of do what I do and keep my creativity and just make it last. So, kudos to all the guys that's out doing they thing now, all the new rappers, young rappers, man. Like I said, they can be doing something a lot worse, So some of it I disagree with, some of it I agree with, some of it's good to me, some of it's not. So that's just my opinion as a listener and as a fan or just a mentor to some of these guys.
And you know what's funny? It's always been like that. It's always been songs that were not the most positive songs. It was songs that it was all hip hop always has had that mixture. It's just I think, like you said, with social media, everything is more magnified, more blown up
Yeah.
because of that. But like you said, just imagine if we had those outlets back in the days, because we managed to do it without them. We
Yeah.
got out on that road and made it happen like that.
Just thinking we had some of those iconic battles at the Rhinestone and all that stuff with Willie D and Romeo Poet and Class C and all these Rapatron and all these guys. Just thinking we had all that on video and posted up for the world to see all those battles. Man, it'll be crazy.
And that footage, in my opinion, that footage would be worth a lot of money. That footage
Oh
would be
man,
worth
definitely,
a lot
definitely.
of money, man.
All the SPC shows, man,
Man,
screwed up click show. Well, they got those now. Y'all was a little bit, so we had a little coverage. But just say, all that stuff back, man, it would have been iconic, man. It's crazy. Us at the radio station, doing Where's Your Hair and all that shit. Man, we had all this stuff on video, man. At least we don't even have a lot of pictures. At least we had a bunch of photographs. It would have been, it would have been something else, man. Something else, so people can get a visual, like the new rappers now, they can get a visual of 30, 40 years ago, 35 years ago. Like, hey, man, that's how they put it down. They was dope. Just like we look at some of the early rap, Grandmaster Caz and all those guys in New York that started off, like, you look at those old pictures and they're like, dang, that's how they got out back in the day, man, in the early 80s, late 70s, because I like to visualize what those guys were, how to, I'm a visual. When I look at stuff like old school, I always look at everything in the background. I look at the clothes they had on. I look at what kind of furniture and stuff was in. I look at all of it. That's how I look at movies and stuff too. I always read the credits and stuff like that. So I'm a visionary when it comes to that. So I'm always looking at stuff like that. I'm like, damn, boy, he had those got damn chucks on, with the socks pulled up. Girl had that little plaid dress on, her hairstyles. I look at all that, man. So yeah.
yeah, it puts you in tune with the times, what's going on. It's like when we see old pictures from the 60s, old pictures from the wild west days. You see like you say, the wardrobes and even the structures of the buildings and all of that. You get a chance to actually just see what they was on back then.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I even go on YouTube and type in, just like I'll go on YouTube and type in Houston 1975. And
yeah.
you see all the pictures how Houston looked in the 70s when we were kids, before we were born. I like to see all this. I like to see when my mom, well, how stuff looked when she was like a young lady, 25 or 30 years old. Type in 1952 or 55 or something. My mama was born in 42, so she was like 10, 15 years old. See what kind of how they lived back then. Just get a visual like, dang, that's how it was, man. In 55 or 52 or 62, So Food for
Yeah,
thoughts.
because life changes before our eyes, and it changes without us actually knowing it because we just living it. It's like going through your neighborhood, and your neighborhood, you may have lived there 25, 30 years, but it don't look the same as it looked 25, 30 years ago. This used to be that. That used to be that. Now it's a condominium. Now it's this and that. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great point. We here with the legend, man, the OG Jazzy Red, man. I think OG, I wasn't recording us earlier, but I am now. So we may go back. I apologize for that. But we're here with the legend Jazzy Red, man, and this is one of the brothers who I came up listening to, who established the Houston scene, the foundation of this city, sits on his show. He is the foundation, one of the building block pieces, brother. And we talked about Kids Jam, but I gotta reiterate that. I hope I'm not holding you up, because the people have to know that in the early days of rap, when it wasn't even a scene, people like yourself, people like Wicked Cricket, people like King T, those brothers were putting it down and actually establishing our culture out here, establishing our culture, brother. So again, I mean, if not to inconvenience you, brother, but can you just let them know who you are real quick and tell them, what you believe your contributions were early on in this city?
Well, yeah, like you said, all you mentioned a lot of great names. Of course, Lester Surpace is some of the early. Of course, my man Daryl Scott, kind of pioneered the way as well. Daryl Scott was a big contribution to Houston's legacy of hip hop. With his mixtapes and stuff that he did way before Screw. I think Screw was a baby when Daryl Scott had mixtapes out. Before Screw tapes came out, you had to get you a blast 35 or a blast
Come
whatever
on
number
now.
you had to get that. And Lester, man, was just a pioneer, man, just real radio savvy and real smart brother. Lester's like a big, like, well, not, well, we same age. So Lester's, he's like a big brother to me. Lester he got old wisdom. And Lester was one of the guys that, that I had an opportunity to meet and work with when I first came to Kids Jam, thanks to my man Wicked Cricket, who brought me in into the whole game. And we just been not even knowing and not even thinking, like, man, we setting trends, we doing something, we just teenagers doing what we was doing, back in the day and those times, and just was doing it. So shout out to those guys for being a foundation as well. And as far as me, man, my rap career, that's what I came to KTSU to do. I started off as a master rapper on the station. Like I say, rest in peace, Michael Mitchell, who was the one of him and Lester Surpace was the main voices on the station at that time. Pam Collins, program director, and Charles Porter Senior was the general manager of the station. Man, Kids Jam was just a big foundation of something for all kids. It was done by kids. We did news, weather, sports, all those different things on the show. And we rapped, we scratched, we mixed, and we talked, and we just had fun and did all kinds of stuff, told jokes, whatever, and just had a great time doing it. And I was fortunate enough to, be the I can say I was the first rapper to make a record, 12 inch. I actually was a 7-inch record with a band called the Chance Band. Yeah, it was a 7-inch record, but it had a hole in it like a 12-inch record. And
Wow.
we did that record with the Chance Band. Stephen Roger Cummins was the band leaders, and they pulled me in to do a rap. Did a song called Breakdancing. This was in '83. 1983 came out like in early '84, something like that, late '83, and I was a teenager, of course, and just did it, man. Then moved on to that to do my own label with a big radio personality, Jerry Smoking B. Was with Kiss 98.5, and we did a song called Top Secret, which was by had the legendary, rest in peace again to my man OG Style, Prince Easy E at that time, Old Gentleman's Eric Woods, and he was featured on that song with me. On the flip side, we had a song called I Run This Town. And, because at that time, rappers was braggadocious. I was braggadocious because I got my LL in me. I'm thinking, I run this town. I'm thinking at that time, I ran the town.
You
So that was my
did.
that was my thought process. Like, I run this town. That record, it had a little bouncy beat. with the old school Lynn drum.
Yeah,
Okay, you know,
come
yeah,
on
we had
now.
the Lynn drum. You know, that's what what's the name of them guys from what AMPM or Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde used
Jekyll
that
and
Lynn drum.
Hyde.
You
While I
know, man,
bust this break on my Lynn drum.
yeah, they used the
Yeah,
Lynn drum.
no
So that's
doubt.
what it was, man. So we just, did it from there. And then top secret, I run this town. And then we shifted on to the West Coast where we came up with I'm a Dope Beat. So it's just been moving, man. It's just been moving since
And
then.
talk about that, because you educated me a minute ago when you spoke about being the first rap record to come out of the city, because I even knew in my early days when we put our record out in '87, I knew we were early, but I knew we wasn't the first, because I knew the Ghetto Boys had came before us, but I didn't know about that record that you talked about. So y'all were the very first rap record to be released in the city of Houston, huh?
First rap record, man. It was the Chance Band was an R&B band. They did a lot of R&B songs, and they had a nice buzz in Houston. They had a good stable name, as as far as R&B groups go in the city, along with some of the other greats. Mel Owens was out back then, and the Bedrock Glass Band. Those guys were out doing their thing, and yeah, they wanted to do a rap song, man. This song was called Breakdance. Oh, break dancing is a thing to do. They sung the hook and everything. I can't even remember my rap, but it was dope though. I was hitting them with it.
Yeah.
And so they got me to do the rap, man. We did that song, man, and it came out real good. It was all live instruments, live band, live drums, live keyboards, bass, guitar, all that stuff. Before I don't think we had the drum machine. We had the Lynn drum then.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we did that and put it out 83, 84, man. That was the first one. It came out on Happy Beat Records, which was Roger Steve's record label, Happy Beat. And yeah, it's out now. It's out. So yeah.
To let people know, as I said earlier, brother, you are one of the first rappers I heard, especially locally, that just at a time where I was this little young, hot-headed rapper that thought I was all that, that when I heard you, I had to sit down somewhere. I had to sit down, and reevaluate, because you were far more advanced in the early '80s, early and mid '80s than we were, and that a lot of us were. And I was like, man, how is this dude this good? I was thinking about that, and we spoke about the acapella that I always bring up to you. This acapella rap that Jazzie Red had back in the days, and they played it on the Kids Jam radio show. And when I heard that record, when I heard that rhyme, I was blown away. I was blown away because it was just so. They weren't even saying swag back then, but just the personality. You knew you was killing. You knew you was dope. And I snuck and I recorded it, because you could record straight from the radio to the cassette back in the days.
Yeah.
And I had that rap memorized back in the days, man. And I modeled a lot of what I did early on after that, just that energy that you brought, bro. So talk about that. I know it may not be, but to me, talk about that acapella verse, man, because it set a stage for me, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, I appreciate it, man. First of all, I'm glad that you received it, and that you, along with other listeners, we had the whole city listening to Kids Jam every Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And every Saturday 10 to 2. And then after that we'd go on later to Rainbow and do the skating rink. DJ there, we'll be out there rapping and mixing and just have a big skate party. And man, I don't know. That thing just came up, man. Like I could say, you back then we were just trying to out-create the next person, and I was trying to outdo myself, because there wasn't nobody else rapping, nobody else on the radio. So I was trying to outdo the last rap. Each week I try to outdo the last rap that I did previously. Because every Saturday I do a different rap. So I was trying to say, man, what can I do next? Man, let me just do it, because we always listen to acapella rap, because back then the records, when 12 inches, they had the vocal, the instrumental, and they have an acapella, and they have a dub mix. Some of the 12-inch singles, they have all those different versions. I said, let me just do an acapella with just finger snaps. We just did it. Me and King T got in the studio, and we just laid it down. He put some echoes and stuff on it, and that's how we came up with that rap.
Man, it was beautiful, man. And Tell us who were some of your early influences in hip hop, the people that, because early on it was only a handful of rappers that was out, period. So who were some of the guys that you looked to as an OG, my OG? Who did you look at and say, these are guys that motivate me to want to do it?
Well, of course, one of my biggest icons, and I kind of just kind of blew me out the water. I appreciate you for saying how dope I was. When I heard him, I was like, oh my God. It's LL Cool J, man.
Ah,
He came up with the original Rock the Bells. I was like, man, how do like you said, I'm like, how do he even think of those words? So I just, that kind of motivated me and inspired me a lot, LL. And the only rappers that was out big was the only rappers, like I said, we all came around at the same time. I was out when they were out. I wasn't out with records other than that record, but they were out nationally, on big labels. And it was LL Cool J, of course, Run DMC influence, had a lot of influence on pretty much everybody, at that point. And Curtis Blow, loved Curtis Blow when Curtis Blow first came out. He was so different, man, because Curtis Blow was one of the first rappers that I heard that really stacked his vocals like overdubs. He'll, he'll double and triple his voice on
wow.
right. I'm like, man, how he lay all those layers of his vocals. He's one of the first rappers that I kind of admired when I heard that. I'm like, man, he's stacking his vocals. That sound good. And he sung a little bit, some of his records, his early records, Christmas rapping and the breaks and all those songs. And just, just those guys, man, I just kind of looked up to and kind of, just kind of learned from, with my own style. I never really, bit none of their stuff or never really tried to emulate them. I just admired them for what they were doing, and I just did my own thing.
Back in those days, it was unheard of to try to steal and be. You had to be original because, like you said, there wasn't many artists out, and anybody you came out trying to sound like, it was going to be detected immediately. They were going to automatically know. And now you trying to sound
Biting is a
like,
crime.
yeah, oh man,
Biting is a crime.
punishable by.
You're punished by the hip hop law. The hip hop law, you get sentenced and punished for biting somebody's style. Biting, for those who don't know, means copying somebody else's style. We call it biting in the rap world. If you bit my style, oh man, that was it. And some people say imitation is the best form of flattery. I don't like nobody. Hey, don't imitate, man.
Not in hip hop.
Don't imitate me, dog. You get your
Yeah,
own. Don't bite my shit. I'll be
right.
mad, man.
That's
And I
right.
don't bite nobody's stuff. I always, whatever somebody's doing, whatever the mainstream thing is for me, when whatever somebody's doing, everybody's doing, I try to do something totally different. I don't want to do what everybody else is doing. I'm always like that. I say everybody talking about Jordans, everybody talking about, I'm gonna talk about something else. I might talk about some Chucks or something else. I never want to do what everybody else was doing.
Man.
So that's kind of where I was with that, even with the acapella rap that I did. For those that don't know, acapella is just no music.
Right.
There's no music. Acapella, just vocals by itself, just your voice. And we did that, but we added some little just finger snaps behind it to keep the timing of the beat, and that was it. So you always stay original, always stay different, man. So that's my theory.
I still do acapellas and shows to this day, and part of that influence came from the one that you did because it gives people a chance to just really hear you at your own pace and they can hear you clear. But
Yeah.
let me ask you this. So when did you know, hey man, you know what? I'm good enough to actually go into the industry side of this and make records because when Brother Jazzie Red had a song out called I'm a Dope Fiend, and it became one of the biggest records to me in Houston history. It's just like time tends to consume the memory of our pioneers because we don't do a good enough job in keeping y'all's name out there like that. So when that record came out, just being around at that time, you was getting heavy rotation. You was getting serious rotation. And we were just so proud of you, bro, because it was like, I know that dude, I know that dude. And not only do I know him, he's cool. He not arrogant. He not full of himself. He always welcomed you. How did it feel to get into the industry side? When did you decide you were good enough and talk about making the I'm a Dope Fiend song?
Well, Dope Fiend came about, man, in the early 80s when I left Kids Jam. I went to California. King T left before me, which I always go back and say DJ. He was DJ Terry T when he was before King T even existed. He was DJ Terry T. So he went to California, and then he asked me to come out and I want to make a record, and I was like, yeah, no brainer. So I went out there and got into the industry, then met Toddy T and Mixmaster Spade, Bobcat, Pool, just some names I'm dropping, you know, and Mixmaster Spade and Dre and Easy, all those guys, you know. And so we went, I was finna say Snoop, but Snoop wasn't Snoop then. And so, yeah, man, we got out there and got with Todd, went to record labels, shopping around, got a deal. And that's when we had to put the album together. So we came up with this, so we were kind of pressed for time on the album. So I said, I got a song already done, man. It's one of the first times that I ever rapped something that somebody else wrote. Because, you know, rappers back then didn't rap nobody else. So you wrote your own shit, you rapped your own songs, you know. So he had this song already done that he wanted me to just go ahead and do it so we can finish the album, which was the song I'm a Dope Fiend. Didn't like it at first, man. I didn't like it at all because it wasn't me. I'm like, man, all right, let's go ahead and do it so we, you know, get the album, turn the album in. Did it. Can't turn out to be our biggest song, man. On that. Turned out to be our biggest song. You know.
That was incredible, man. It was incredible. And like I said, again, we were just so proud. So what are you doing now? Because one thing I know about great rappers, the skills never dissipate. The skills never go away. So even if we might take a hiatus and chill for a second, there's no such thing as retirement. So what have you been doing in these past few years, and what are you doing now as it relates to the rap game?
To the music industry. I never stopped recording after I came back from California. I did another album, which, you know, it didn't really get promoted, didn't get put out good, but it's out there on the internet. You can just type Google my name and you see all this. I did the Voice of Authority album. I did a song album, well, actually an EP called Mile High Madness. Did that EP, and I just been recording throughout the course of that time up to this day. Which now I have a new single, not fully as an artist, but just something that I like to do, and just in me, it's in my blood. Natural High. I have a new song I call Natural High. It's on RLE Records, which is my another independent label now that I have. And so you can that's on all digital platforms right now. Natural. I just did a Christmas song with my daughter, my 7-year-old daughter, Raiden. We did a dope video for it. Go and check that out. It's on all digital platforms. Also, you can Google it, check the video. YouTube, check the video out on YouTube. It's called "I Wish Every Day Was Christmas," and so it's a real nice Christmas song. If you hear it, you're gonna love it, and let your kids listen to it and check it out. I have I put out a classic that I did in 1995 called The Southern Way. I'm gonna sing you that too, Reno. I want you to check that one out. It's it's never been released before, so it'll be out soon on all digital platforms as well. It's called The Southern Way. And yeah, just some old school 95 flow on it. They're just talking shit about Houston and, you know, what goes on and how we flow in H-Town and so on and so forth, you know. Kind of different flow for me. So still doing it, man. Still doing it. Never stop. Married. Got my wife, man. I got my babies and stuff. Taking care of my kids, man. Yeah. Just had a new baby.
Wow.
Still doing that. She putting her hands in her mouth now. Got my baby, little Rose, man.
Beautiful.
So he doing good, man. So just keep it good.
I got a couple more questions for you. Number one, this is a question that people ask me all the time. Who are some of today's rappers that you like? You know, because we know we love the old school, we love the classics that we listen to coming up. Are there any rappers today, I'll say it like that you listen to and that you really like on the regular?
Yeah, it's several. You know, I like Drake. Always like Drake. You know, even though he's not new no more because he's been out for a while. Yeah. But he's the newest of he's not old school. Like Drake. I like it. You know, believe it or not, I like the Baby. For some reason, I like the Baby, man. He's kind of energetic. He has a different little style. And who else I like? Kendrick Lamar, of course. You know, I like the artists, all the artists that has flow and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So like Kendrick, the Baby, Drake, and it's a few. I can't think of all of them right now, but it's several artists out there that I'm really into, and I think they're doing a good job, and they're making money. So that's good, and doing something positive. Female rappers, I like Cardi. I like Cardi. She's pretty good. Nicki, of course. Yeah, it's a few. It's a few out there that's doing their thing.
Let me ask you
So
this,
yeah.
because we've seen a lot of not a lot of, but certain little pockets of division between the old school and the new school artists at times. As an OG yourself, what do you think has to happen to kind of bridge the gap and bring those generations together? Because we all in it together. And that
Mm-hmm.
same industry beast that was biting cats 20, 30 years ago, it's still biting these new artists today. So it's a common enemy. What would your suggestion be to the rappers who feel like we are the enemies of each other from old school to new school? And how can we fix that?
Um, I don't know, man. I guess some of the new rappers have to just know their history and know, just like with actors and actresses and different people, they know who opened doors for them. They know who paved the way for them to get them to where they are. I gotta take my hat off to Luther Campbell, man. If it wasn't for Luke, we'll be still censored and kind of hushed on a lot of things. Because Luke single-handedly opened doors and broke barriers for us to be able to, have freedom of speech on records. He went through all that, man. He went to court, all kind of stuff to fight for hip hop, man, and to fight for freedom of speech. So the young rappers, I know they cocky, they millionaires, now they rich. Some of them for no reason, but those and some for good reason. But I think they have to kind of know and kind of be a little more humble to the people that paved the way for them to do what they're doing now. Because if it wasn't for Run DMC and Run set all kind of records, I don't know how many accolades they got that was so detrimental to hip hop. And of course the Lukes and everybody else that fought for hip hop. If it wasn't for these guys, man, I'm telling hip hop probably wouldn't even be existing today. So I think they should kind of just recognize that and recognize it and be humbled by it, and just kind of know that you didn't start this. He didn't start with you. A lot of people, when they get cocky, they think, man, I sold 20 million records, but it didn't start with you. It's people that sold 20 million before you. And without them, it wouldn't be you. So be a little bit more humble, like Snoop was saying on talk show, man. Bow down. You got to bow down, so to speak.
And a lot of
You know,
artists who have enjoyed their success, they come and go. A lot of them have come and went. We can
yeah,
name artists who were the hottest artists in the game back in the days, and this generation may have not even heard of them. It's just how
mm-hmm.
the nature of the game. You're not promised to be sitting on that top seat for
Yeah,
forever and ever. Well, we definitely need to establish something to bring attention to the greats and the pioneers like yourself, bro. Because again, the same way you say that hip hop wouldn't be what it is without the Run DMCs and all, and that's a fact. But Houston wouldn't be what it is without brothers like you, who gave us the inspiration, being on the radio way back then. Y'all set the standard long before it was these radio shows and these morning shows and these groups. Y'all had that same thing going and that same type of chemistry going decades before we even seen that on a mainstream level, brother. So I'm going, and I ain't gonna argue with you, but I'm gonna put something together where we can honor pioneers like Jazzie Red and Sir Pace and Captain Jack and the brothers you mentioned. You mentioned early on, you mentioned Rappertron. You know,
Rappertron, man, Rappertron. Oh, and Rappertron. Oh, speaking of Rappertron bit one of my lines too. I ain't gonna forget that boy in the '80s. I was rapping about this girl that I had a crush on. She had a crush on me. But she was real young at the time. And I did a song say, Shantae, baby, dun, 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 dun. And Rappertron gonna say the same. I say, boy, you bit my line, dog. You remember that?
Come on, man. Come on, Rapatron. Hey, man, I'm gonna have to get you on, man.
Yeah,
But
man, gotta get him on that one.
but
But
we
it
gotta
was
honor
all in good
people.
spirit though.
We gotta honor people like y'all, bro, because it's up to us. The mainstream radio we know in Houston, in my opinion, I can't speak for nobody. This is me talking. They have done a great disservice to the OGs and the pioneers, and they've dropped the ball, whether um, intentionally or unintentionally. They've dropped the ball because the generations of today, like you said earlier, if you in New York and LA, they know who those pioneers are. But in
Yeah,
Houston,
exactly.
not so much. There are maybe a few, but not so much. And we got to change that, bro. We got to change that because you deserve it, man. You know, I like I say, when I used to see you and Wicked Cricket in person and talking about how mention this real quick and we're gonna wrap it up. The policy that y'all had to allow young local artists to walk in the Kids Jam with cassette tape with demos and just get their stuff played and get an interview and all that. That was big for people like myself who had never had any experience doing nothing like that, man. Was what whose idea was that and how did y'all open that up to give people that kind of opportunity?
I think Lester had a lot to do with that, you know, because I can say we broke like almost every artist now that's out in Houston that they had to come to us if they want to be heard because nobody else was playing, especially all the rappers, you know, Rap a Lot, they brought all their stuff there. Car Freak with Raheem the Vigilante, they brought all their early stuff there to us to play on Kids Jam. All the R&B artists, Mel Owens and different Art Chance Band, all those guys. And I think Lester was an instrumental part in you know, having artists come up there and play their songs. Even national artists came through and did the shows. We had the Fresh Fest, and the Swatch Watch tour, and
Yeah.
all those different things. Yeah, see, I'm going back. Swatch Watch tour, Fresh Festival, man. Houdini, Run DMC, them. All those guys came through the station, man. Just you know, that was the platform, you know, and we were the people to go to get your song heard and you know want to be big in Houston. That's why how a lot of the other rappers and stuff came out. That's how where you think Rapatron how he got heard. He was on the show. We had him on the show to come rap and do some stuff and you know all those different guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, Lester and Pam Collins, man, they played an instrumental part in it. So
Yeah. And shout
thank
out to
Lester.
and shout out to Deidre Ward too, man. You know, definitely
Rest in
shout out
peace,
to the
Deidre.
jazz dope.
Deidre came back the second half of Kids Jam because they took Kids Jam off the air for a while. Can't forget Deidre was so instrumental in bringing Kids Jam back. So we can't forget all the contribution that she made to the show and fighting. She fought so hard for that show to come back on because they wanted to get rid of it. They didn't want to deal with the kids for some whatever reason. I was there for a little while, then I left. You know, before that to go, you know, to LA and make records and stuff. But yeah, Deidre Ward really fought, man, for Kids Jam. So they brought Kids Jam back on because of Deidre. She was the second program director after Pam Collins had left. So Pam was the instrument, you know, the first, you know, woman to come on and start the Kids Jam show off in 80, 82, 83.
Yeah.
Then Deidre took it over, I think, like in, I don't know, 89, 90, somewhere up in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
So
it
yeah,
was one thing, if it was one, if any at all, but if it was one thing that you could change about your career, just looking back, like you could say a mistake I made or anything, what would that be, if anything at all?
nothing, man. Nothing. I always tell people that even with my life, you know, people look back and say, if I can change one thing in my life, what would it be? I wouldn't change nothing because, you know, I think God has your life already planned. If you do that, you're interfering with God's plan. You want to go back and say his plan wasn't good enough for your life. So you want to go back and backtrack it. You know, he have a plan all, you know, where you're going to be in life and what road you're going to take. And it's up to you to kind of just, you know, take the wheel from there and kind of navigate and guide yourself the way you need to be. So everything that I do, as far as my kids, you know, I got two grown kids. I started over, had four, four or five smaller kids. You know, that was all in the plan, man. You know, because I could have been just my two grown kids and I'm done. I could have been saying, well, where would my life be? I wouldn't be here with my wife, wouldn't be doing all the things that I'm doing. I'll be somewhere doing something totally different. So I'm grateful for everything, man. All that was in the right order that it was supposed to be in my rap, my career. You know, everybody say, man, I wish I could have been a big rap star, been made platinum records, sold millions of records. It wasn't meant for me to sell millions of records at that time. You never know. Might do it now. You know, you never know when it's your time to do what you need to do. So for me, you know, I'm good with the way my life worked out now.
And man,
I'm
we
still,
are happy, man.
I'm still pretty. I'm handsome. I'm young. Look at me. Still
no
looking like I'm in that kids jam.
no doubt, no doubt.
I got classmates look like they 94 years old. I'm saying, man, we the same age. Why you look 80 and I still look 30?
Oh man,
See, it's all about
living right and thinking right, man. That'll keep you young, man. What
yeah,
happens
man.
inside is gonna eventually manifest and reflect in your face and on the outside, bro. So
True, true,
you're doing
true.
something right, man.
Thank you,
What do
man.
you
I
think
appreciate
about
it.
when people say, "Oh man, you know, yeah, y'all too old to be rapping, man. You know, these rappers out here." What do you think about that age limit that people try to put on rap artists these days?
I don't know, man. I don't know what age, you know, because early on, hip hop was just, it was just youngsters. We were young.
Right.
Everybody, we hadn't got old yet. It was everybody was young, so it was for young people. But as you get older, who said you can't rap at 50? Who said you can't rap at 60 or 70? If you got the voice and the lungs, you can rap, do what you need to do. You know, I wouldn't try to be a hip hop artist and be a full fledged artist, but then again, you probably can at 50 or 60 years old. They think it's just for teenagers and for young, you know, young 20-something-year-olds, you know. Shit, you can be 50 and be a rapper. If shit, a lot of actors and actresses started their careers at 40 and 50 late. Danny Glover, a lot of those, you know, Sam or Samuel Jackson, yeah, like 30 something, 40 years old before they, you know, got big and got on. They wouldn't say, man, I'm 40 years old. I can't start no acting right now. Too old to start acting. I should have been doing that when I was a teenager. Shh.
Come on.
No.
Skill is ageless. Skill is ageless.
You got people going to college, starting college at 30, 40 years old. You know, look at the Parkers on Monique. She was a 30-something-year-old woman going to college with her daughter. She ain't too old to be to go to college and do what she needs to do. So just an example. So yeah, age, like what Aaliyah say, age ain't nothing but a number. If you feel it in your heart, if you feel like you want to rap, like what's that commercial with the guy saying, "Am I too old to start skateboarding?" The Twizzler commercial, like, no, you're not, man. Get out there and skateboard if you want to skateboard.
Right, man. That's an
So,
inspiration, man. That's life lessons given to us by the OG Jazzy Red, one of H-Town's building blocks, pioneers, foundational pieces, man. I thank you so much, but go ahead.
quickly, April the 14th is Jazzy Red Day in Houston. So, thank you, Mayor Sylvester Turner. If you didn't know that, Kay, now you know. April the 14th, Jazzy Red Day. Actually, that's my birthday. I got the proclamation on my actual birthday. April the 14th is my birthday. I'll be 22 years old this April 14th. And it's Jazzy Red Day. So we can't I wanted to turn up what I wanted to do for Jazzy Red Day last year before the pandemic hit. I wanted to, because I'm all about the kids and the seniors and the veterans. I wanted to go to a nursing home, an old folks home, and party with the old folks. I was gonna have them. We was gonna bake some cookies. We was gonna play some games, have some music popping. And I wanted to do a little something for the old folks. We couldn't do it because of the past. So when everything cleared, that's what Jazzy Red Day gonna be in
And
Houston.
congratulations to you, bro, because you deserve that, man. You deserve that, brother. And we got to still try to figure out something to do, even in the midst of the pandemic. And we just set up and go feed the homeless somewhere or something,
Yeah,
because I
exactly.
mean, I didn't know. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I'm gonna be putting it on blast now,
All
because
right.
I know that Wicked Cricket had a day, I know that Screw has a day, and
Yeah.
I'm just going back to the pioneer, but to know that you got a day, brother, that's big to me. That's big, brother. So we're gonna put that on blast.
Thank
Without
you, sir. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much, K-Rino, man. Keep doing what you're doing, making all them damn albums, man. And boy, I don't know how you did that last one, what you did, how many books, how many albums, what was it?
we did 7.
Oh man,
Yeah,
yeah, that's crazy. That's
no,
that's
bro.
that's writing, man. That's just go back to show to reflect on that creativity, man. You got to stand out and be different. What rapper? Who put out? Ain't a rapper in history. Ain't no rapper, no big artist that put out 7 albums at one time. That's ridiculous.
But think about what you said earlier before I let you go. You said that every week you had to have a brand new freestyle to come
For
on the air.
years, I did that for years.
Right. So
Yeah.
the challenge of that to keep outdoing yourself, bro. And that's why you are an OG. That's why you're a pioneer, because you set standards like that to even if it's indirectly, to instill in me to always challenge yourself. So, bro, you've been doing that. You've been doing it. So we thank you, man.
I've been wrote 7 albums, years.
Hey, look, if you say it every week for years, that might equal up the 7 albums, you know.
There might be a good 7 under my belt there, yeah.
Now, well, tell us again where they can get all your music and where they can contact you, because I know a lot of people gonna want to know their history, man. They're gonna reach out to you. So let us know one more time.
Yeah, just go to I guess Google my name, Jazzie Red, JezzieRedd. I'm on Twitter, the Gram, Facebook. You can always check me out, man. So yeah, Jazzie Red 1 on the Gram, at Jazzie Red 1, Jazzie Red 2 on Twitter, and Jazzie Red on Facebook. So spit at a pimp and holler at a player.
Respect to you, brother. I appreciate you coming on. And number love, and anytime you need me, brother, don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you, dog. Let me get back to this right quick.
Do your thing, brother. The great Jazzie Red, y'all. H-Town Pioneer, man. Peace.